We want to say a special thank you and shout out to our great friends at Riverside Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram on Vincent Massey Drive. We certainly hope you and your families are doing well.
Yes, and just as a reminder, they are still able to assist you virtually from a sales perspective. You can shop their website at riversidechrysler.ca. You can also have a conversation there with somebody from the dealership. And they are doing virtual walkarounds and can have a virtual conversation with you. So if you're in the market for a vehicle or you need a new vehicle, reach out to our friends at Riverside Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. They're happy to help or answer any of your questions. And make sure to follow them on Facebook and Instagram, Riverside Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Hey everybody, it's Sue Stewart along with Pat LaRose.
Hey everyone.
Welcome to this week's edition of The Chat. We're back again. We invited him back on the show because he had some great tips before that you may have missed out on. So Tom Irvine from QuestPTS is with us, and we're going to get to him in just a few moments. But Pat, a few celebrations this week, to say the least. If you might share your stories.
Yeah, I think first just to share this little message.
Yeah,
right?
Make positive louder.
I think that's an important thing to keep in mind right now. And I know we talked a lot about that on the last podcast. So I just wanted to share that just to, right off the get-go, tell people to be more positive. And on that note, we just want to address a couple of good news stories. And, you know, obviously with everyone dedicating a lot of their efforts to social media right now, putting up posts related to their business or how they're helping or what they're doing at home, you know, we're seeing a lot of that. And one of the things I just want to make mention of is the Cornwall Chamber of Commerce has a shop, Cornwall and Area. It's shopcornwallandarea.ca. So it's a new website that's been put together, and a lot of businesses are jumping on board. It's a great tool to let you know what businesses are open, how they're able to help, and how you're able to go about purchasing, whether it's goods or services. Well, not so much services, but goods from these businesses. So make sure if you have a minute, check out that website. You'll see a list of all the businesses that you might be able to support during this pandemic. So that's one note of good news. The other thing, Sue, that I wanted to just to touch on, and it's something I saw recently, and I feel like it's something we're going to see a lot more of, is virtual events. So a lot of the nonprofits that would normally host golf tournaments, mind you, we haven't heard any news about those, but the hospice has posted that they would normally do a hike and a butterfly release, and they're doing them virtually this year. So it's a virtual hike. So they're still finding ways that they can fundraise for their organization and still make it fun for the participants involved. So like for the hike, you still do your donations, and they're encouraging people to still do their hike on their own time. And same with the butterflies. Instead of releasing actual butterflies, again, this is to my understanding, they want you to draw a butterfly or make a butterfly and post it on social media, and then they're going to fundraise that way. So it's really interesting to see how now some of the nonprofit organizations that rely on that fundraising are innovating to find ways to still interact with people, to still engage people that want to support it and raise funds for the cause.
It's almost that opposite of, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You have to reinvent the wheel right now. You have to think outside the box and try and figure out ways to continue on as you go. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. And I think there's probably going to be a lot of the nonprofits and a lot of those things that go on that have auctions on them. They're still going to be doing probably online auctions, and where people can still help and donate with the funding of those such events.
Yeah, and just since we're on that topic, Tom, I know that I've been seeing you post workout tips and routines, which is really great. Now, for some of the products in your store, can people still purchase some of that from you?
Unfortunately, not at this stage. We worked out a deal with our supplement supplier, and we have his number on our website. If you get a hold of Rob, and he can deliver it right to your doorstep.
Okay, so there, another great resource or way to do that. So, make sure to if you don't follow Quest on Facebook, make sure you do, because Tom is doing videos every day, right? Pretty much every day, Tom?
Yes, I have been. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I can tell you, I've had a session with Tom before, and they're great. They're tough, but they're great. And he's really helped to improve my mobility a lot with his programming. So I encourage you to make sure you follow him on Facebook right now. Do it right now, and check out his videos every day. Just the other thing before we get right into Tom is there was a lot of celebrations this past week that hopefully we all celebrated. So it was National Volunteer Week. It was also Administrative Professionals Day and Earth Day on the same day, which was April 22nd.
And I did notice that there were some flower shops that were delivering. I saw a lot of people posting their photos. So it's nice to see that. They don't have to, that's again, something that goes right to your doorstep. It was before. You could have went inside and picked out your flowers, but it's always been a thing to be able to do online. I think there's more and more of the flower shops starting back up if they went on a pause. At least I hope so, because flowers really do make someone's day.
Yeah. Yeah. And, I've seen some posts on social media too. I think it's just friends among friends, but leaving care packages on their doorstep. Like it could be beer or wine or food, just something to, show appreciation, let them know that they're thinking about them.
So I'm going to jump into, since you said beer and wine, Tom, how are you feeling about, I almost feel like every day is Groundhog's Day or / New Year's Eve, where I think, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, alcoholism may be a thing. And I'm not even joking about that. I constantly see posts of people drinking or trying new drinks. And I know with owning an LCBO outlet, people are calling and trying to reserve things. And it's kind of gone a little over the top because nobody knows what to do with their day outside of having some cocktails at 9 a.m.
Yeah. So unfortunately, a lot of people are just making the wrong decisions when it comes to stress management and time management. So I think a simple solution for people to start setting up is a daily habit routine. So typically for myself, I'll wake up and I'll go through some of these steps here soon, but I try and keep myself active to around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and taking advantage of this downtime to read a lot of good books, contact with a lot of family members I haven't in a while, organize and clean up. But if you're just sitting around the house, you're not doing too much, it's pretty easy to go to those negative habits. So setting up the daily routine would be a good strategy for everybody to start taking on.
Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, I had a number of drinks the other day because I just had one of those moments where I got sent home from work early. I was starting to fade and I was starting to get a little anxious. And sure enough, I started calling family members I hadn't talked to in 10 years. So yeah, it becomes a little bit of a hobby and sometimes not for the better. Some didn't answer the phone, by the way.
I think for me, I think I know we've talked about this a couple times, but I'm trying to stay strict with good eating habits and working out at home. And Tom, I'll tell you, it's tough not being able to go into the gym because it's a different form of motivation. But I'm trying, and I have just have this sense that when I actually can go back to the gym, that it's going to be a little bit more of a process with some of the heavy lifting. Because I have, other than a few kettlebells and a set of dumbbells and body weight movement, that's pretty much the extent of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I hear that from quite a few people, and that's the reason or motivation behind the posts I've been doing daily. And there's quite a bit of things that we can actually do at home with our own body weight. So one example that we're all starting to lose is our motivation and drive. So a simple thing I posted today, did you guys see my Facebook video today?
I unfortunately was trying to get my third quarter taxes done. Or first quarter. We're at the beginning of the year still, aren't we? I've been put myself in paperwork mode this morning. Not yet.
Okay. So very simple thing. So if you guys want to relax and fall asleep, a warm bath has amazing benefits. But opposite to that is cold water to stimulate you guys to wake up for the day. So what do we see with a lot of people is a lot of depression's kicking in right now. This is actually a great tool to help calm down your depression, help increase your motivational drive for the rest of the day, and give you a lot more vitality and strength for your workout. All you have to do is put your feet underneath cold water. Now, typically what we recommend is about a 20 to 30 second process. And the reason for that, we have nerve endings that are really far away from the brain that end in our feet that create more of an effect to our nervous system since they're so far away. And that's going to really jack up that intensity for the day, give you a better sense of well-being, decrease pain, decrease inflammation. And I use it as a pre-workout or stimulant to get my workout started first thing in the morning.
I actually think that's a great topic or a great tip for people who are constantly on their feet, the cashiers and everybody running around as much as they are. Their feet are killing them by the end of the day. So the first thing they don't want to do is stand up when they get out of bed in the morning. So that's a suggestion for them, I guess.
Yeah, or another example too is if you have a power nap, a 15 to 20 minute power nap throughout the day, great way to kickstart the body to handle stress. But finishing off that nap with a cold water solution on your feet is, again, a great way to stimulate yourself to wake back up, rev your metabolism, and give you some more motivation to accomplish something.
So I've read a few articles and watched some videos about these guys. I don't know if it's like a military thing, but the cold showers first thing in the morning. Are you a cold shower guy first thing in the morning?
Uh, yes, yes and no. So for if you're asking, do I recommend it to all my clients? It's something you have to build up to. So that's where we start with the bottom of the feet. But definitely, first thing in the morning, cold water is the way to go. But majority of people, they start with their hot shower, then they conclude with the bottom of their feet with the cold water going through the tap. That's a good way to introduce this type of system to people.
Interesting.
If it comes to, we talked before about certain foods putting in our body, because I don't think I'm going to get to this cold shower very quickly. I'll be honest. I like warm and cozy. I wish I had heat lamps everywhere when I get out of the shower. But you had mentioned the last time we spoke about some of the things not to do, because right after you get the shower, some people make their smoothie and off they go. So your thoughts behind the smoothie process, you're putting everything in that's healthy, nutritious, but it's going into your body in the opposite way you need it to, right?
Well, you're introducing food in a very large state that you couldn't normally consume it in that same length of time that you could drink that smoothie back. So when you get into the foods with a lot of sugar, your fruits, for an example, it's just too much overloads of blood sugar in your system, and that can set in a trait of diabetes, inflammation, stress. The only exception to that would be after workout, but again, it comes down to not having way too much fruits in the morning.
That's it exactly. How is it we can get with our day if you're struggling, especially with, as you said, some people are getting a little bit depressed at this point in time, their energy level's not there, they're wanting to get out of bed isn't even there most times. What are some of the things we should start our morning off with? Like I've been trying when I can. I have a whole wheat, just a half a whole wheat English muffin with a poached egg and avocado. That's my one plate in the morning, and it seems to help me a little bit. Also helps with my eczema. I'd mentioned to you before we started that when I get stressed out, I get eczema. Like my head just looks, it's a mess. And my hairdressers in the past have said, what is wrong with you? But when my stress gets the better of me, that's how it shows, is with eczema or psoriasis. It's a combination of both, I think. I don't even know.
Okay. So one thing for a majority of people, if we have more body fat that we're trying to burn off, typically having more fat and protein in the morning is a great way to stimulate the neurotransmitters in the brain that give you that alertness and motivation for the day, more specifically dopamine. One simple solution or one simple diet plan is having a meat and nut breakfast first thing in the morning. If you have a lot of carbohydrates, about 80% of the population get a crashing effect after those carbohydrates. We actually control carbohydrates a lot better in the evening hours, and induces a better quality of sleep when you have them in the evening hours, where first in the morning it's more the protein and fat. And I usually add in some vegetables with that to give that alkalinity effect to balance out the acidity from that protein.
So are you telling us that breakfast for dinner is probably better than having breakfast for breakfast?
Depending what you have for breakfast, yes. So the Paleolithic type diet, if you look back in history, what do we have access to? We didn't always have access to Kellogg's cornflakes first thing in the morning. So the more processed stuff we have, it goes through our system at a faster rate, blood sugar gets jacked up. And again, the majority of the population respond better to real natural foods first thing in the morning. So to make your lifestyle easier to adapt to this type of system is having leftovers. So for example, this morning I had chicken and Brussels sprouts, and that was leftover from the day before. And I felt great for the whole morning, got my workouts accomplished. Where if I had reverted to something that was more sugary, more processed, I would have had that crashing effect and been on the couch watching Netflix all day.
So does that also apply? So I do intermittent fasting. So does that same method apply for me? So my first meal of the day will be at noon.
Yes, well, the first thing you put into your mouth should be protein. And the same thing, so if you're having that small window of time that you're ingesting that food, concluding with carbohydrates, will induce serotonin. So that's going to give you a better quality of sleep. Now, this is again based on 80% of the population. Some people respond very well to carbohydrates. So a simple thing for you guys to do, wake up in the morning or your first meal, have something that's really sugary. So let's say pancakes and a lot of maple syrup, and see how you feel about 20 to around 30 minutes afterwards. For myself, I crash down, get tired, irritable, sluggish. It doesn't work for me. Other people get really stimulated and they respond great for the rest of the day. But again, 80% of the population, and what I find is majority of people have that excess body fat revert better or respond better to that original plan I was talking about, the meat and nuts first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, that's me. I know if I eat pancakes in the morning or something, I'm toast.
Yep.
The rest of the day, I feel like crap.
So when it comes to vitamins, again, I had a little conversation. I wanted to do my personal talk with Tom before we start the chat today, but I'm drinking tea right now. It's just by Tetley, Super Greens, vitamin B, and green tea. So it's just the berry burst. I've got other pills I'm taking for eczema and wrinkles. Notice I've got bangs now. Not been able to get any Botox lately, so bangs are back. Doing, as I talk about healthy stuff in my injections, D3, I'm doing B12, I'm doing biotin, and I really am doing my best because I'm not a pill taker, vitamins at all. I get in a little bit of a fad sort of with it, and then it's gone, and I don't see them for 2 months. How do we work these into our diet, even if it's naturally, or what do you suggest we work into our diet, again, to keep our energy and our brains functioning in a happier way?
Like I mentioned last time, I go the approach less is more. So I try and get as much as I can from my foods, but there's a time and place for supplementation. So one thing is sunlight. So as we all know, we're going to absorb sunlight through our skin. So the more exposure we get to the outdoor elements is a great way to get vitamin D into our system. It's going to absorb a little bit slower into our system, have a more lasting effect compared to supplementation. Whenever you guys get vitamin D from the sunlight, it's important that if you're darker skin, 30 minutes is a typical time frame. Somebody that's pale like myself, more around 10 minutes. Exposing it through the whole body, so the less exposure you guys have, the better. Into your eyes first in the morning has a lot of correlation to wake you up for the day as well. And there's some scientists that say that it will give you some absorption of vitamin D. There's controversy to that, but I try and avoid using sunglasses first thing in the morning. Now back on to supplementing vitamin D if your levels are too low. I think I mentioned this last time, but in case I didn't, taking vitamin D, instead of doing every day, taking it twice per week at higher dosages has been proven to get your blood levels up to a higher level at a better rate or faster rate. So for example, if you're taking 2 of those vitamin D capsules right now, you're taking them every single day, well, that's going to work it to 14 capsules per day. So it'd be better for you to take 7 on Tuesday and 7 on, let's say, Friday. You'll get better absorption of that. And whenever you're having a supplement or a vitamin D supplement, it should be more in a liquid state. You'll get better absorption. When it's a dry capsule, you're not going to get that same utilization of the vitamin D.
It's a liquid soft gel. So is that, okay. Oh, well, that'll make it better for my time restrictions then, twice a week as opposed to every day. Do you take anything, Pat?
So I'm on like my own routine right now. So I'm intermittent fasting. Before each meal, I'm drinking about half an ounce to an ounce of apple cider vinegar with some cayenne pepper and water, and then I eat my meal. I'm taking fish oil. I'm taking probiotics, my digestive for stomach. I'm also taking. I just got some collagen powder, MCT powder, and I'm also doing super greens, and I put that in my shake. And at night, every night, I'm drinking hibiscus tea. And I don't know if we mentioned this the last time you were on, Tom, but some of the research I'd done or things I'd seen that when it comes to beverages with antioxidants, hibiscus tea was like the highest level on the charts. So that's been my routine. So I'm trying to try different things, incorporate different things into my diet, and like Tom said, just to see how my body reacts to it.
Yeah, so those are great habits to do. So I know you guys were talking about fish oil. So taking fish oil after meals will help your body control the blood sugar response to that meal and give you more of the health benefits. So a lot of people that take their fish oil, they take it beforehand on an empty stomach. You'll be using that more as a calorie energy source. So instead of taking fish oil before meals, you want to take it after. And back to Sue's habits of the supplementation, we're talking about GLA. So we have good fish oil, so that's your omega-3, your DHA, EPA, and then we have GLA that comes from omega-6. So omega-6 has a bad reputation. That's more from your processed foods, but there is a good source, omega-6, which again is called your GLA. You have borage oil and you have primrose oil. So for a female, you're going to respond better to taking primrose oil. For male, you'll respond better to borage oil. So there's a specific ratio having X amount of omega-3 to omega-6. What I find with the majority of people, we start with a 1-to-1 ratio. So if I'm taking 9 grams of omega-3 from fish oil per day, I want to take 9 grams of my borage oil, or if it's a female, then they're going to be taking the primrose oil. So that'll be something to start with. And a typical range for people to start with these supplements, anywhere between 3 and 9 grams is where we start, and then we can start exploring other individual needs. Some people have been recommended up to 30 to 40 grams from certain natural paths, but for the average person, we start with around 3, 6, 9 grams type range.
There really is so much to know, and right ways and wrong ways. We could be doing what we're supposed to be doing, but not in the right order. So it's nice to know that I would never have known to take fish oil after I ate, or that I should take a different primrose. Is that what you said, primrose?
So you showed me the borage oil. That's a GLA, so that's omega-6 fat. So primrose oil would be better since you're female.
Well, there was a female on the jar. I just assumed she knew what she was talking about.
That's what they want you to think.
There we go.
Packaging. Is there anything else you can think of that you'd recommend to people? Again, we're talking mind, body, and soul here in a time that is really turbulent for all of us, whether we're still working or not working, or not even able to see our kids, or I've seen friends of mine who are grandparents now not being able to hold their little first granddaughter that they've ever had. So it's wearing on our mind, and I don't think we've seen the light at the end of the tunnel just yet. We've got to keep moving towards seeing the end of this COVID-19 pandemic, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, so again, back to what I said was setting up daily habits. So that strategy, instead of taking a lot of stimulants to get myself motivated for the day, putting my feet underneath cold water is a very simple, affordable technique that everybody can take advantage of. Also, water first thing in the morning. So it's proven a lot of times that people have heart attacks. It happens on a Monday morning. Why? Because they're weekend warriors. They tend to drink, party it up. They're dehydrated. So if you can start off every single morning consuming 1 liter of water, it's unreal what it's going to do to your system. Your muscles and all the connective tissue, when they get constricted from dehydration, you get very stiff and tight when you get into that depressed state. So having water will help hydrate that system, help optimizing your flexibility, help cleans the body out. So if you find you're constipated first in the morning, a lot of times related to lacking water. So having 1 liter water first in the morning is a very good routine that all of us can do. And by doing that and having more hydration, and then putting your feet underneath cold water after your morning routine, you should notice a lot more vitality for the rest of the day.
Pat, do you have any other questions for Tom?
Yeah, I want to ask you something. So again, you're seeing a lot of local personal trainers and gyms putting up videos like you do, but we're also seeing, like, I'm also seeing it because I'm expressing interest in some of these things. I'm being delivered ads on Facebook and on YouTube from these nationwide personal trainers with certain recommendations. So, but there's one thing that I wanted to address with you. So the one I saw, the person was talking about high intensity interval training versus just regular cardio. And the person was saying that if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to burn fat, that a high intensity interval training of like 7 to 10 minutes, you'll actually burn more fat than you would going for a run for 30 minutes.
Yes and no. So what I find, there's a lot of different systems out there, but what happens is a lot of us, we do too much stress. We add too much onto our plate and we burn ourselves out. So I find going through a system, high and low system, works best. So you can decide on what you're trying to accomplish. So I could do interval training where it's going to work what's called your lactic acid system, and that can change your composition at a pretty quick rate. Or we can do something in a shorter time frame, so more explosive sprints that would last, let's say, between 15 seconds or less, or explosive weightlifting. By doing those type of drills, it's going to give you guys more athleticism. So you guys can do a lot more activity on a routine basis, keeping up with your kids, and it can burn off a lot of calories. So you're going to pick one of those 2 objectives, something very explosive to do, or doing something lactic acid system where you get that deep, deep burn. So what you're hearing from those other trainers, you're doing, let's say, a 45-second intense cardiovascular workouts. You're doing burpees, jumping jacks, et cetera, et cetera. Now, the thing is, that's going to take you time to rejuvenate from that. Now, there's some people that beat this rule, but there's also drugs and other things involved. So what I find with majority of people, we're going to push this high intensity workout on day one. Day two, we're going to do something at a lot lower pace. So that's where the walking comes in, general stretching, general movement. You're going to keep the body moving, but allowing that body to rejuvenate. So again, sometimes less is more approach. So my system to keep people routine, keep people healthy, you're going to decide on what type of interval system you want on day one. Hit yourself pretty hard for, let's say, a 20 to 45-minute workout. Day two, you're going to do something more at a nice moderate pace to help rejuvenate from that would be more the system that I believe in.
Are you going to do it now, Pat?
Well, I have been trying to incorporate some of this into my I guess training program at my at-home training program, but I've subconsciously been doing pretty much what Tom's been saying, so I don't. And I think it's because I notice the stress on my body if I was to do it every day. So I try and break it out, but I have been incorporating them a little bit into my workout program, and it's I mean, I can feel that it is high intensity because I can feel my heart rate increasing and I'm sweating. And it's just, and the reason I have incorporated those is because when we had that crappy weather and it was raining outside, I wanted to do something, and I didn't want to go run in the rain.
Tom, I do have someone that has asked online here, any predictions on when the gym will be back open and what will we expect moving forward? I do believe this is one of your members, Skylar.
Yeah, I'm lost in the dark with that too. So I'm following the news on a daily basis. I try not to indulge into too much negativity. So I just hear the key points of what Mr. Ford's saying and Mr. Trudeau. So it's all in their hands right now. And again, I'm basing this on the community. So I want to follow all these action steps, making sure we're doing things the right way and keeping this community healthy. If I could open the doors today and get back to normal routine, I would, based on their recommendation. But right now, I'm just like you guys. I'm just waiting to see what the higher figures best for society. So I'm lost in the dark right now.
Well, we feel for you guys because I know Pat has said it. I know my neighbor Manette comes in to your gym as well as Luke, my boyfriend, and you and Jessica are both like their motivation face. You walk in the door and it's go, go, go. You guys got this. Good for you. And I know a lot of them are missing it right now.
Well, likewise, what's built up our business is clients like you guys, the community. So honestly, we wouldn't change things for the world. These are tough times for all of us, but that's why I'm putting up free information to try and keep all you guys stimulated, give you guys something you can do without any cost whatsoever. Because at the end of the day, the only reason why I'm in this position to have a smile on my face and have all this lovely equipment and have a business is because all the clients and community that we're lucky to be involved with. So thank you, everybody.
So, on that note, are you, like, if somebody wanted an at-home workout routine or a nutrition program or something, are you still offering that service?
Yes, I definitely am. So I have quite a few clients, or to be honest with you, about 10 to 12 people I'm working with right now on a weekly basis for customized programming that we do charge the additional fee for, since it's individualized and custom to that person. But we're not pushing those sales. Again, we're trying to do as much as we can free of charge for people. But if people are looking for something, again, more customized, based on what they have access to, we're definitely here to help you guys out.
Really nice to hear. I wish Jessica could learn how to do a virtual massage at this point in time.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
Well, Tom, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And yes, as you say, there's so much going on between our premier and our prime minister and all around the country. It's been difficult for everyone. Some are wanting to open things up. I think the last I heard, Saskatchewan was thinking about having businesses start up again, or at least sending people back to work. It's really so up in the air from one place to the next. Where are we going to peak? When are we going to start coming through it? And who knows?
But also in saying that it's hard for us. We have to pay our bills and whatnot, but we can dwell on the negativity. I can surround myself and get into all these different Facebook posts where people are so negative, but I refuse to do that. There's so much more that we can accomplish through this downtime. I've never had this ample time to do the reading that I wanted to do over the last few years. And it's amazing how many things I forgot. I always thought that I was pretty knowledgeable in this field, but what I'm discovering now, there's so much more that I need to revisit. There's so much more opportunity to learn more. And that's what I'm taking advantage of. So we can keep dwelling on things not going to open up. There's a crisis going on, but I think instead of that mindset, our glass is half full. There's so much that we can take advantage of right now. And as I said, learning, reading, setting up that routine, and connecting with loved ones.
I appreciate you saying that more than you can possibly imagine. It's all about the kind words, the kind thoughts, and the positivity going forward. Make positivity louder. Absolutely. I think that's 100% bang on right now. And I started learning French. My goal was to speak French by the end of 2019, but I didn't quite get there. But I'm even further because I get the audibles. And when I drive back and forth to the store all the time, I'm practicing my French speech in the car by myself so nobody can poke fun at me. And there's some things, as you say, that you can take from this, and it's whether you could go online for new courses, educate yourself, or find new hobbies that you can do around the house. There's something you can take from this in a good way.
Exactly. Yep.
All right, Pat, you know how to speak French?
A little, a few words here and there. I keep saying that I have to make an effort too, because my wife's fully bilingual and my kids are bilingual. They're going to an all French school. So, and even right now, the teachers are sending, I don't want to say homework, but stuff for the kids to do. And luckily it's simple enough, but I need to make an effort. I've been saying that for a long time too, though. So I really do have to make an effort.
Honestly, Audible has been fantastic. That's the only, they talk me through it as I go along, and they pause for you to try and say it. If anybody's wanting to learn French, it's an easy way to do it without being with anyone.
Right.
Tom, thank you again. Give our best to Jessica. And when all of this is said and done, it's nice to know that you're going to be even more educated and more knowledgeable when all of your clientele gets back in to see you and say hi. I almost said a high five, but whatever you guys, whatever be the new normal, the hellos will be worth it.
Yes.
All right, Pat, I think that's about it for us this round.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks a lot for joining us, Tom, and sharing your wisdom with our audience.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Much appreciated.
Take care and enjoy your time right now.
Yes. Thanks,
All right.
everyone.
That's this week's edition of The Chat. Have a great day.